Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stuart Vine.
My name is Joshua Plummer.
And here's our review of the final stop on the road to WrestleMania, WWE Fastlane. As always, it always feels like a pay-per-view that shouldn't happen, because it should always be one pay-per-view before WrestleMania, not two. But here we are, and we're here to review it.
It was common in the good old days of the Attitude Era just to have that one pay-per-view, say, for example, the No Way Out. And then once they had the brand split, that's when you can sort of forgive them for having a pay-per-view each between WrestleMania, the Raw and SmackDown. And I guess that's probably why. But then you have both brands on the show. And yeah, this pay-per-view is no exception. It's an awkward time to have another pay-per-view. And it's a pay-per-view filled with awkward moments, which we're going to get into.
You could say that. I mean, it's one, but I can't really describe what this pay-per-view is, to be fair, because it's what happened. Like, the only two noteworthy thing that happened in this pay-per-view is, spoilers, the theme returned, and the main event that had an interesting turn. So, except for that, the rest of the stuff didn't. I think I kind of thought other people's thoughts on it, kind of like, didn't some of these matches feel like they could have done them on Raw and SmackDown? Did they feel like pay-per-view worthy matches?
Well, some of them they've already done either on the previous pay-per-view, or they've literally done it on Raw as per Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, and sort of with Braun and Shane. That's been done. The first match, women's tag, that was a match at Elimination Chamber. Back in Elimination Chamber, we also had Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Obviously, different stipulation this time round. Daniel Bryan getting a fairer crack at the whip. Big E and Apollo constantly happening on SmackDown. Apollo wanting the opportunity, Big E saying no. Apollo changes character. He just asks for a title shot and he gets it. That's another theme, which is still an issue for WWE as well.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, to be fair, a lot of people, as always, just after the pay-per-view, because obviously I'm a guy that doesn't sleep properly, so I can stay up late while everyone is smart enough to go to bed. I put a poll straight after the pay-per-view, and it got 10 people voted for it. Awesome people. But yeah, it was basically either, I think it got 40% good or 40% bad. You know, people couldn't really put their finger on about this pay-per-view, really. Like, some people thought it was like, yeah, it was alright. The others thought, wow, this sucks. I guess, but I can see why they think it's bad, because it didn't have anything except for the main event.
Yeah, this was it's bad when, well, I've used this phrase before, where, say, Monday Night Raw is bore, but the worst one is when it's Raw is chore, when you have to watch Raw and you really don't want to. Same with Fastlane. I'm not really excited for any of these matchups. I mean, there's a little bit of interest, seeing how they're going to do, say, like the Intercontinental Championship match with Apollo Crews' new character, the intergender match. You're expecting the kind of same old shenanigans from Roman, Jay, Paul Heyman. Nothing really to be overly excited about. But we both sat down. We got through it. We watched it. Wasn't awful, but not necessary.
No, I mean, especially when it's 3 weeks before WrestleMania. Like, just let that sink in, by the way.
Yeah.
3 weeks before WrestleMania.
3 weeks before WrestleMania. Another 2-night spectacular.
Oh, God, we've got to talk about it near the end, but as much as I love wrestling, I really do. Obviously, we've got a podcast, but there's like, what, was it 8 shows in 7 days or something like that, or like,
yeah, 2 takeover shows, 2 manias. Don't we have 2? Yeah,
NXT UK.
Don't we have 2 New Japan ones?
Oh,
NXT UK.
Oh, not even if there's New Japan. I'm sorry, New Japan, but I can't watch it.
I think there's New Japan as well.
I'm sorry, but I have to watch that at a later date, as they say. But yeah, like, the NXT UK one makes no sense. Why are they shoehorning him on the second night of Takeover?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have like NXT. You're gonna have NXT UK, and then you're gonna have NXT UK, NXT Takeover, Stand Deliver Night 2. It's like I get it when no fans there, but like as we're reviewers, I'm going to pull my hair out. I don't know how we're going to find time to review all these, man. It's going to be an interesting one, but that's for next time.
That's for next time. This is Fastlane, the final stop, sort of, on the road to WrestleMania.
A bit on the nose with the fast lane and the cars and the pit stops sounds they obviously have, so it literally is the final stop. That's kind of annoying, but yeah. So I guess in enough waffle, I guess get into it. We'll quickly get into the kickoff show because again, I'm assuming you didn't watch it, or you just. No. But I saw bits at the end. It seemed like a pretty decent match. Obviously, I'm talking about Matt Riddle, the United States champion, going against Mustafa Ali. Kind of set up because of obviously. I actually don't know why they're kind of fighting because again, it's one of those feuds that kind of they're fighting because of reasons. Might be a cool reason. I don't know. It's involving retribution. No, I don't care.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mustafa Ali's been doing some really good promo work actually. Although unfortunately, that's all been sent over to like exclusive to YouTube or exclusive to WWE Network, so they don't actually get TV time, which is sad for Mustafa Ali, but in a good way because of the result of this match and what went down afterwards. That means hopefully Mustafa Ali can go back to not being a faction kind of leader of a faction which no one liked. It's a very generic group. And he can just go back to having classic matches like he did back in 205 Live with the likes of Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander.
Yeah, I mean, I think also this, if you're going to be Mr. Positive, like the only good thing about this play, this kind of retribution is that it's shown us that Mustafa Ali is more than just a high flyer that's good in the ring.
Yep.
The guy can talk. The guy's good on, it's good on the mic, and if he's given the right material, he can make something kind of bearable. I mean, it's like this without retribution was always that things like, oh, the rubbish. And then when Mustafa Ali was aligned with him, you were interested, like, again, for a little bit, of course, but you were kind of, oh, this could turn into something. Obviously, they completely failed because for some reason they just didn't know how to book these guys. It's like didn't know what it was. It was more of a, they thought it was a good idea. But yeah, so retribution seems like, unless they haven't changed them more, I don't think they did, is no more.
Hooray! Hopefully that means we get Mia Yim back, and hopefully that means we get Dominik Dijakovic back as well.
I got to be honest, I did hear something interesting in my intrigue. Imagine if they aligned themselves with the returning Keith Lee. Ooh.
What, you mean like tag team with Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee?
Yeah, or like they like, or like not a faction, but they join together, like they acknowledge the ringside. Because obviously, I think Mia Yim is his fiance or Keith Lee.
Something like that, yeah.
And obviously Dijakovic is obviously in storyline of NXT, his best friend, and obviously that kind of stuff. Yeah. So again, that could be cool. I just don't get the whole. I'm just glad. I hope they do something with them, or they just send them back down to NXT, let them do awesome stuff for NXT, and then we can do what wrestling fans are very good at when they hate things. Forget it ever happened.
Remember it ever happened, but we're just very thankful that it's over.
But so Mustafa Ali, he probably will challenge Matt Riddle again for the United States Championship, because I don't know who Matt Riddle's going to go against, because the division's a bit there. I don't know.
Maybe a cross brand, because they did tease, well, not necessarily tease, but they had the cameo of Matt Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura to transition into the next match, where Matt Riddle was talking about skaters and scooters and skeeters.
I couldn't help but roll my eyes with that, probably for the fact that it's not even funny kind of like stoner kind of stuff. It's like forced stoner stuff, like
forced stoner stuff. Thinking that, is this him actually stoned? Because this is not this is not entertaining. This is quite tedious. I don't blame Shinsuke for buggering off.
No, I love that. He just ran away. He's like, oh, he's gone. Okay, and he came back. It's like, cool, he's gone. To me, it felt like one of those things. It's just like, oh, I was doing something here and you've interrupted. Can you just go away? But because Nakamura's a nice guy, he's a very nice guy. Mm-hmm. He went up for too long and then eventually just hid. He went, came back, and then back to normal. But yeah, so Matt Riddle, Nakamura, I'm up for that. That'd be a cool match. So, why not? Maybe make it a triple threat. Mustafa Ali, make it a thing. Why not? They've got enough time. Yeah. They've got 2 shows. So depends if they want to put a 3-hour show each night that would destroy my soul if they did that.
Oh, it won't be 3 hours. It'll be a good 4 or 5 hours each, won't it? That's what it'll be. But I don't mind so long as we get either a feature length, well, not feature length, but as long as we get long segments of Firefly Funhouse with Fiend and Randy Orton, and we have part of the. I'd love Sami Zayn to hijack WrestleMania. That would be fantastic. Just like half an hour or so, just airing the documentary, like taking over WrestleMania, holding everyone kind of hostage.
Why wasn't he the host of WrestleMania?
Ooh.
Because, I mean, again, it's not important. We're getting to it probably near the end, but like with the hosting of WrestleManias. But again, obviously there's certain hosts for WrestleMania that.
It'll be Bad Bunny, won't it?
Oh, no. He's actually in a match. But anyway, against guess who? But that's, again, we'll talk about it near the end because that's when we can talk about WrestleMania. But so obviously that was the kickoff show. That's the only wee talking point. Then obviously the main show happened, of course, and the kicked off always kick off with a tag team match. If it's even the men's or the women's, so kicked off with a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match with Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax going against again Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Again, it shows one thing: there's no women tag division because they seem to be pushing this again. It's like it's basically, as you said, a rematch of Elimination Chamber,
and they're really trying to force this kind of idea that both teams have dissension in the ranks. They're both not getting on because of things that happened the previous week. So I think Shayna Baszler accidentally kicked Nia Jax in the face against her match against Banks, costing her the win there. Banks apparently. I didn't watch Talking Smack, but apparently she cut a heelish promo on Talking Smack. They have that dissension because Sasha Banks is not infatuated, but interested, I would say, in Reginald, which is a bad thing. You want to really sell that this is about the title and being the best, and we're focusing on the sommelier. It's the women's championship match, and we're focusing on this bloke who serves Prosecco and speaks French.
It's all he had to do with this feud was basically about respect. Two faces, or kind of heelish, kind of two people. You've got the kind of, I won't say legend, but the kind of staple mark of the division, person everyone's been like killing it in the division for years, against this upstart, this person that's just come in the last couple of months and worked her way up to get a title shot at WrestleMania, and it started off as respect and then can turn into something really cool, like it's a jealousy of something, or like Sasha Banks jealous of Bianca Belair. There's so many cool stuff they could have went for, but then they went for this. It's like they've got 3 weeks to repair it though. So, but come on, man.
They rectified it slightly with the ending. They kind of know where they're going now, and what the relationship is, what both of them think of each other, especially with Sasha towards Bianca. Anyway, beginning of the match, again, they're kind of like speculating, will these teams get on? Who's going to cost each other the title? It is Sasha and Bianca who start off working aggressively on Baszler. They're working together, getting those tags in. Same can't be said for Shayna and Nia Jax, as Nia Jax blind tags herself in, as Shayna Baszler is working on Bianca Belair's arm. Bianca Belair is taking a lot of punishment in this match. You would have thought that you'd want to, I guess, kind of push Bianca and let her do the hot tag, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, most of this match, a lot of the big spots that kind of happened to Shayna Baszler, you would probably say. I mean, obviously that beautiful 450 splash that Bianca Belair did, it was really awesome. Again, on Shayna, it seems to be Shayna was getting all the offense, she was getting the submission, she was getting involved. Like, Nia Jax wasn't involved as much.
Another great move was the double T with Bianca Belair face planting Shayna Baszler with Sasha Banks hitting a knee strike. That looked really good. Going into a Banks statement, which causes the dissension as Jax pushes Belair into the submission hold, thus breaking it up. Belair and Banks have a confrontation. Sasha Banks calls Bianca Belair a rookie. Get out of the ring. Is distracted as Belair's getting out of the ring. Is rolled up by Baszler. 1, 2, 3. And Baszler and Nia Jax retain, as expected. You wouldn't expect Sasha and Bianca to both walk in the WrestleMania with the tag team gold as well. Although, didn't they do that last year as well? They had the tag team gold. Did they have the tag team gold at the same time at WrestleMania with Banks and Bayley? They're tag champions as well, weren't they?
No, I think that's when Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross won it last year.
Oh yes,
I think it was against the Kabuki Warriors, if my memory serves me correct.
Oh yes, that's right.
It's the first match they had on the card, if I remember. I can't believe I have actually remembered that. So it shows I've either got a really good memory or it's just popped in my mind. But
that's what it was. It was a fatal 5-way match, wasn't it? And Banks was in that match as well, and she helped Bayley, I believe.
I think so. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of people kind of forget that WrestleMania, except for the 2 cinematic matches and maybe Drew winning the title. But but we won't have any moments like that this year. We're going to have moments we'll remember. It's going to be like that. But so again, not much. Reginald was involved again, as you said. Got involved. It wouldn't be, for God's sake, man. Stay out of people's business. Go away. Just give him something else than just going between all the women. It seems to be if it's not Carmella, it's Sasha Banks. If it's not Sasha Banks, it's Nia Jax. If it's not Nia Jax, it's who? It's is he just there to be that kind of distraction? He causes problems wherever he goes. Yeah,
I guess so.
I just wish it was just more about competition and less about distractions. And they got 3 weeks, so I'm hoping, as I said, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair stuff, it turns into kind of jealousy or kind of respect kind of thing. Proper competition type rivalry more than just. I gotta be honest, that finish though really annoying though. When you think about it, do you hate it when heels when people distract them, but they can blatantly see that someone put Nia Jax pushed Bianca Belair into Sasha Banks, but she went to argue with Bianca Belair. It feels like it's kind of silly.
Yeah, that's one of the first kind of awkward kind of moments. There was a couple. We had interesting offense from Jax. We had a headbutt to Bianca Belair's ribs. It's okay. Headbutt the ribs. I've never seen that before. Not quite sure how effective that is. And then I quite enjoyed this moment, the face-off, the poke to the head and the giant slap from Banks to Belair. A nice cue, a nice big reaction of ooh, artificial, but that worked well. That establishes what Banks thinks of Belair, the rookie versus master or rookie versus boss dynamic, thinking Belair as the underdog, I guess, and what's the word I'm looking for? Never mind. But then we had another awkward moment where it's okay, just not in the ring as Banks walks away, and then we're just having, there's the WrestleMania sign.
Yes.
We've got to point at the WrestleMania sign. We've done Royal Rumble. We've been there. We've done that. You don't need to point at the sign anymore. You've pointed out on commentary that, you're fighting at WrestleMania. You've said in the match on commentary, you're fighting at WrestleMania. It's been established. You don't need to point at the sign. It's just there for the promo package. That's all it's there for.
I know people like visual cues when it comes to so where is this match happening? At WrestleMania, and I have to point out. It's well, we don't need to do it. I think it'd be different if it was the person in the main, in the big title match, does it, but everyone does it. So it becomes a bit it loses its impact. It's like everything, but I think it seems like I kind of like the thing it went right here with Bianca Belair's okay, is that how you want to play it? Kind of situation. So again, hopefully SmackDown this week sets up a really cool. Maybe they can do a nice 3-week build to make this into a feud. I'm going to enjoy the match anyway because I think their styles work well. But I just hope they could build up a nice intense storyline in 3 weeks to make it kind of really, add extra to it, hopefully. But the women's tag team division titles, I have no idea what they're going to do with them. They'll probably put some random team that wins together. Yeah. I don't want to say it's going to be a throwaway match because it feels like that, but the tag division is just not there in the women's.
No. The only tag team is basically the Riot Squad. So that's what makes sense to me. And I like the Riot Squad.
They always lose. They always book them to lose. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So frustrating. But I mean, to be fair, I'm just really gutted that they didn't utilize the whole storyline they kind of set up in NXT with the whole screwy finish type thing. I think that could have been turned into an angle where they could, was it Dakota Kai and Gonzalez go up to win the titles eventually at WrestleMania? Would have given a showcase for them. Would have given the titles mean more. And yeah, but I mean, I'm not against the women's tag team division on NXT because they will make it awesome. But I don't know how it's just I was kind of invested, and then they kind of like for a week, and then all of a sudden they just said, "Oh, we'll just do that," and it's like, "Oh, so the women's tag division in WWE is just there's no one there. There's no teams. They just don't like tag team wrestling with WWE. I don't get it." No. But anyway, it's not important. But yeah, so the Sasha Banks Bianca Belair match should be awesome. So hopefully they can book to something cool. Yeah, quick thing. Obviously with the hit and miss with the whole Shane Braun Strowman thing happening.
Hit and miss, awful miss. This absolute mess. What is the story? The intention's there for Braun Strowman. I'm pissed off I wasn't in the Elimination Chamber match because of some bullshit technicality. I'm a Universal Champion, which is technically a World Championship. And then Shane come out and speaking this odd kind of like language and said, "Oh, I don't want to insult you. I don't want to insult your intelligence." And then effectively what it is just calling Braun Strowman stupid.
It's basically, because I'm watching it with my review series, it's the Big Show Shane McMahon feud. Yeah. Same thing. He basically got it because he called him a pathetic and all that, and then all of a sudden Big Show hated him for it and went for it. But anyway, that's for the match later, kind of. But there was a bit a training thing where he got out of training room. He injured his leg trying to do a V trigger in a training. Just tells you that only one person can do V triggers. Actually, two people. But anyway, so obviously then Elias came up and then said, "I want to be in WrestleMania," and Shane said, "I have an idea. Can't my pants out." Wonder what that can be. We'll find out in probably 10-15 minutes when we review it. So
yeah, and Jackson Riker was there as well. Obviously, he's the kind of bodyguard, I guess, of Elias, and he's there just awkwardly nodding, to everything. It's like you just look really dumb, just nodding. It's like just don't do anything. Do like an Omos. Just don't be no expression, nothing. You meant to look menacing, look like the muscle, but it's going just nodding. You look stupid. It looks really awkward.
At least they're doing something with him, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised. I haven't seen Elias in a long time, so I mean, it's probably been on the wall. But anyway, so that'll bring up for the match probably after later on. But anyway, so the second match all night was the WWE Intercontinental Championship match between Big E and Apollo Crews. In a build-up, I was actually, I was really enjoying. I think this feud felt so organic and felt really good. So I was actually kind of excited for this to see what they were going to do with it in some ways.
I was worried. The only thing about it is I was worried they were going to book themselves into a corner with Apollo Crews constantly losing to Big E. He's told to go back to catering, which Apollo Crews doesn't like. As a result, he changes his gimmick, or rather, he reveals his real self as that Nigerian with ancestors in who were Nigerian loyalty. He starts attacking Big E with steps. So I thought the steps might be incorporated into the match, maybe into the finish, perhaps. But when you've got that kind of new character, okay, you want to make them look good, but do you want to take the title off Big E this quickly? Do you want to give this new character a title this quickly? Do you have some kind of screwy finish on a pay-per-view? Kind of back yourself into the corner here. And that's sort of what happened with this match. And the match, which was very short. A very short match.
5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes for the Intercontinental Championship match. And probably the best build outside the Universal Championship match.
Yeah, I totally understand it. I mean, of course, it's like the nice thing about this match, what again the ending as well, was it started off really good. You got it started off was it Big E just like launching himself. What's you for the middle open? Was it Apollo Crews? Basically, I love was it Big E's kind of intensity, kind of like, oh, this is what you wanted, right? This is what you wanted.
Yep.
Hitting big splashes on the apron. Basically, control for most of it. And obviously, it felt very old school in some ways, like the old SmackDown back early 2000 ones. You know, it's just big moves after kind of big moves. Kind of like simple ones like belly to bellies, I think. We got 2 belly-to-bellies by Big E. He was like total control at this point. Yeah, then obviously Apollo Crews, then it got really cool when Apollo Crews got in. He hit German suplexes. He hit a frog splash. It's always cool to see. But yeah, I mean, it was quick fire, because this is the kind of match that would have been like, what, 15 minutes if they gave it time, if they really wanted to.
Of course.
But it felt like I think they would have got the extra, probably like a couple of minutes if it wasn't for them randomly putting that Braun Strowman match on that again wasn't even teased. It was taken off, and then so it feels like they took that time from this match, and kind of disappointing, because it's like I feel that give these guys 15-20 minutes. Yeah. These guys can probably put on an amazing matchup, especially
when you say it's the Intercontinental Championship. It's meant to be a technical masterclass, like two of the best going at it for that championship. And you give them 5 minutes.
I know. I mean, and the only positive I can get from it is that it gives us a small inkling of how good these guys are. So hopefully at WrestleMania they even give them a rematch, or put them in have a rematch, and just they've got time. Just give them time and just show how good they are, because I've got a feeling they can be good. But yeah, I mean, again, the ending was kind of. Again, the other stuff in the ending, but basically end up with a really, like, the roll-up exchanges, the kind of stuff you always do when you kind of want that kind of epic matchup. Roll up, and then all of a sudden, I think Big E got Apollo Crews' shoulders down, and yeah, then like it was a bit confusing. Just the bell randomly rang, and then like the ref pointed to Big E, and we're like, oh, he must have won then.
Yeah, even though I didn't see a kick out from Big E, unless they're going to deliberately make that a factor. But that was so awkward, really awkward.
I don't know if it was a mistake or was it planned. I mean, to be fair, Apollo Crews was like, didn't mess around before you can think, though, because he just basically attacked Biggie, and basically multiple angle slams, or Olympic slams, if you want to call it that, constantly attacking him, saying this is not over. So again,
another slap in the face. Not over yet. They're most likely going to build towards another match at WrestleMania. Maybe some kind of stipulation where, like, neither man's going to back down, so potentially a last man standing match, maybe.
I mean, I've got this feeling, again, maybe it's because I've always loved gauntlet matches, or I love 2 out of 3 full matches, or I love best of 5 series matches. But this feud feels like they could do matches like that. You know, it's about respect. It's about kind of like intensity, kind of warm-upmanship and that. I think it's what the Intercontinental Championship should be. I mean, I've just come off watching Benoit, shouldn't say his name, of course, Chris Jericho in a submission match at Judgment Day, right?
Oh yeah,
that was an amazing match, and they had an amazing feud. I'm not comparing it. These guys can do it, but they're both great in the ring. They've got some characters that's intriguing. I am intrigued by Apollo Crews' kind of Nigerian prince type thing. I do think someone backstage has just watched Black Panther, because kind of just feels like that with the kind of spear and the guards and that. But at least now Apollo Crews, that's been the problem with him. And you could say the same for Bobby Lashley. They're really good competitors. Bobby Lashley's very strong, very powerful, as is Apollo Crews. He's fantastically agile. He can do all those flips, those moonsaults, the frog splashes. Great stuff, but he's just lacked character. He hasn't really had a character. He's had some time on screen and some promo work, but nothing's really... He hasn't really found his voice, but I guess if this is his literal voice, which I'm not sure it is, it sounds a little bit generic. Well, I don't know. It might be. I mean, but the good thing is...
It might be his real accent, yeah. But most likely not, yeah. But it probably isn't too... He probably has a good ear for it, and it's probably accurate, but it might be... Because you know how they have to adapt accents, especially, say, the likes of Drew. I think Nikki Cross, they've both spoken about, Vince can't understand my Scottish accent. I think that's happened before.
It sounds like a thing. It's like when people say people that from Liverpool or something, like a Scouse accent. It's like, I can't understand you. It's like, sometimes the accents, I get that, but I mean, I think I can. It's like, I think with this gimmick, I'm going to give it time. It could be good. I mean, at least they're doing something with him. It feels like it's been built towards something.
Yeah.
And I hope I give them 20 minutes of WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to this. So, but that finish was... They could have done a better finish, though. That finish was kind of rubbish.
Yeah, very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's Podgo at podgo.co. And be sure to add our podcast, the Josh and Stu Wrestling Podcast, in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of your application.
So after that match, we'll kind of have to talk about a match that, again, was kind of on the show, off the show, on the show, off the show. It's like they couldn't really decide if this match was going to happen.
It does, which is why we've implemented that rule. Yeah, which is why we implemented the rule recently, where if it's added just during the show, it's not included. Because people have been like very sharp in putting in their prediction, like during the show. But you shouldn't have to worry about that. You should be sat down just watching and enjoying the show rather than faffing around trying to get a prediction in. Because some people do it, some people don't, and it becomes unfair.
It feels ridiculous. Obviously, we're talking about supposed to be scheduled when they decide to tell us. Apparently, the night before or on the kickoff show is Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. As you can probably guess, if you do our prediction game, we hate it when WWE do this because it screws our entire game sometimes, and it causes awkward questions. We rectify that problem, but it's still an annoyance. But that match didn't. Funny thing is, they added it, and then even added the match, and then they didn't have the match they advertised that they took off in the first place. It's so frustrating. So obviously, what started this off is obviously we talked about previously a minute ago about the whole Shane is injured. He was on a crutch coming out of the training room because he injured himself during training. So, and the thing at the end of that segment was Shane has an idea. Then we called to this bit where we had Elias in the ring with his bodyguard Riker. I don't know what he is. He's just kind of the guy that stands there and looks mean. With Shane McMahon kind of auditioning, I guess, for having a spot at WrestleMania that I find hilarious because the guy's been on WrestleMania before and he's been awesome. So this segment makes no sense. But then all of a sudden, Sheamus like, sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, you're facing Braun. See ya, bye. And then that was it. And then Braun comes out. He's pissed. He saw the replay of the rubbish thing with the whole green gunk pulled on him on the week before. That's over the top a little bit, but I don't know what they're doing with this. So yeah, most of this match was basically Braun beating the living tar out of Elias. Pretty much. Chopping him, throwing him around. Elias did get some shots in there with, after distraction from Riker, he got like that nice little elbow drop from the top, but it was a foregone conclusion. A running power slam by Braun Strowman. Boom. What was the point of this match?
What was the point? And also, what was the point of Jackson Riker being there? Surely his purpose was to help Elias. He did not help Elias one bit. He did the complete opposite. There was one point where he threw Elias just back into the ring when he hadn't recovered, just straight into Braun.
What kind of friend are you? What kind of friend are you?
Yeah, and when Braun was running around doing his Braun train thing on the outside thing, what did Jackson Riker do? Did he try and take the brunt of the impact to protect his friend? Or protect his client, whatever? No, he ducked. He got out of the way and allowed Elias to take the hit. Some job you're doing, Riker.
Well, if he's a friend, he's a terrible friend. If he's a bodyguard, he's doing a very bad job. The aim of bodyguard is you are supposed to help your client not get hurt.
To guard the body. Yeah, why would you throw them into danger?
This totally feels like they kind of put it together the night before, or like...
Why did it have to be on the show? We could have saved ourselves 10 minutes. It didn't have to be on the show.
They could have done us some Raw. They could have just done like a thing. Well, it couldn't have been on the pay-per-view, so we're gonna have a kind of match. It should have been on Fastlane. We'll put it on Raw. It's like, this would have been fine on Raw because there's no harm on Raw. You can kind of get away with stuff like this, but on a pay-per-view, come on. I mean, the feud. I mean, again, we said before, it's basically Big Show. It's basically Big Show versus Shane 2000 all over again. Based on someone said, call me stupid. You're now going to die. and it's just going to be a no disqualification match, and it's just going to be Braun destroying Shane McMahon. That would be entertaining because Shane can take a beating.
Yeah.
And
then Shane will jump off something high.
It's kind of I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's kind of his MO. It's kind of what he does. If he's not jumping off something high, then what's the point? Why is Shane's not doing it right? But yeah, so they added this match. If there was choice, I probably wouldn't talk about it, but we have to talk about it because it was on the show. So obviously talking about a match that kind of came out of nowhere. This next match kind of did. It felt like they kind of booked it on the SmackDown before, like the go-home show of this show. Obviously, we're talking about Seth Rollins going against Shinsuke Nakamura. I think the story to this one feels to me is like they're basically Seth's going around trying to find new followers, and it's not going according to plan. I don't think. Because obviously with the famous, it's again, they're starting to use Cesaro, it's really awesome. He's starting to get back to the kind of awesome best that we kind of got 2014 type kind of guy, when he could have looked like he was going to do something with him. Build up really cool thing with he didn't do one swing, he didn't do 10 swings, he didn't even do 20 swings. He done 22 swings on Seth Rollins.
As Seth pointed out, yes, in the match.
I got to be. I mean, to be fair, I could probably not even take 5 or 10 from swings like that.
But that segment was hilarious.
So
where he stops halfway through and he's holding onto the microphone still.
Like stop it. He's like,
he's going, oh God!
Give Seth Rollins. He knows how to. He just have good comedic timing sometimes. But he's really. I mean, but yeah, a feud is basically the idea of Seth came back. One, he's got his new old music back. Awesome. He came back in the ring. He was like, "Who's going to join me?" And everyone walked out on him. Cesaro was the last person, and then Cesaro basically uppercutted him and said, "Nope." And then that started the feud. I think Nakamura's kind of got involved through being friends with Cesaro, if I'm assuming.
Pretty much so. After being disrespected and after his match with Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins came in, stomped Cesaro. I guess protecting the stomp a little bit more now. With the story of Cesaro being injured as a result of that stomp. So Nakamura comes out to basically in respect, but also to have a little bit of revenge for his former tag team partner.
If again, I don't mind that kind of stuff, but it's just like I think this was the kind of match that kind of some people about it. It's like they were kind of thinking like, oh, this could be good because Seth, that match I think they had when was it, that a couple of years ago? I can't remember what date. I think it was at a Survivor Series when he had the brand thing. I think it was on. One was Intercontinental, one was United States Champion. They had a battle that was pretty decent. So, and that kind of we always thought if it had a story, it might be more interesting. But I don't know what to really think about this match. What's your thoughts on it? Do you think it was really good, or do you think it was you expected better from it? I'm still on the fence on it a little bit.
Yeah, well, the result was inevitable. Is to protect Seth, I guess, protect the stomp. Nakamura hasn't really been doing much, so it's nice for him to have a program, which is great. You mentioned about the themes being back as well. So Seth Rollins got his Burn It Down theme. Shinsuke Nakamura's got his Rising Sun theme back, which is excellent. Nakamura is a face again, which is good. The Rollins kind of savior character. I'm a little bit bored of it. I liked him to come back and do something a little bit different. There was no doubt they were going to put off like a good match, I think. But when you only book this
week before,
like 2 or 3 days in advance, it's going to be fine. It's going to be a competent match, but investment-wise, very difficult to get into.
Yeah. Again, it felt like a SmackDown match. That sounds really horrible. It sounds like a match that they would have like on a SmackDown, and just kind of like, okay, cool, it'd be a good match. Was it? They gave it, I think, 12 minutes, if I remember the timing. I think didn't give it a lot of time.
And they gave this match more time, and it was higher up the card than the Intercontinental Championship match. Yeah,
but maybe they're just thinking with the performers. Maybe they thought maybe it's because 2 good performers, they might put a better match on. But yeah, there were cool moments in this. I I think we had, obviously, as you said, Cesaro, he's still pissed about those 22 swings, as you said. He even told the commentary team, even Michael Cole was there, said, yeah, he's not happy with those swings. I can't wait till when Cesaro's come back. You had this really cool thing where I think Shinsuke Nakamura was going for this Kinshasa. I always get that name wrong. Trying to go for his finisher, and sort of Seth Rollins kind of caught him into it was kind of really like showing his strength there, and then done that buckle ball into the corner. That's really awesome. There was nice reverse split exploders. There was nice Falcon O's. There were cool moves in this. I mean, it felt the pacing was really weird. It felt very, slow, but not. It's like no urgency to get going.
No, it was intense. So you had Rollins, especially from the get-go, working on the midsection, so the knees to the Shinsuke Nakamura's gut, and the kind of gut wrench, kind of rest hold. Nakamura's getting his usual strikes in, which is good. He gets his signature knee strikes and knee drops on the apron. There's a really nice bit of innovation as well, something we haven't seen. I've not seen anyone do, I don't think, where there's the counter where Seth Rollins manages to place himself up on Nakamura's knee and swing his leg round to hit Nakamura with a leg. That was very inventive. That was refreshing to see.
I gotta be honest, I was kind of trying to figure out what it was called. Like, has it got a specific move? Because obviously it's feeling like it's like a swinging back kick or something like that. But yeah, it was like very, I like that kind of stuff. It was like it did come out of nowhere, and it's kind of like a out of nowhere kind of move that was really cool about it. But yeah, I mean, but again, he had some cool stuff, it had some cool moments. But again, I feel like they could have put a bit more time on it. Would have been nice, as you said, to build it up. Maybe not just a couple of days before the pay-per-view would have been nice. Because we've seen them have a match between each other when it's just a match, and it was good. But we always thought they needed a story, but this does have a story, but they only gave it a couple of days to build.
It does have a story, and it was not really to elevate Nakamura. It was there to elevate, I guess, Seth Rollins. Get that idea of you wanting to see Cesaro kick Seth Rollins' ass and swing him round again, swing him round 23 times, 24 times, maybe double, 44 times. Will we get 100 swings? Oh, that'd be quite fun.
That would be. You know, it would be hilarious if he done a thing like with that, where they just they do it like backstage or somewhere like that they can go back to. So it's like he does it, and it will get back to him later. And halfway through the show, they go back. It's like, oh my god, he's still going. Then we're like,
still swinging in the parking lot.
Yeah, and then you'd be like, okay, cool. We'll go back to him. Surely he'll be finished. Then we'll get some word from Cesaro, and then you go back. Like, oh my god, he's still doing it.
Yeah. Or you have kind of moments where Seth Rollins thinks he's escaped the swing, but no matter where he goes, he always ends up in the swing. Like Vince McMahon in the hospital. It's like, I've escaped Steve Austin. I'll take it from here, nurse. Seth Rollins then gets taken out of the hospital bed and just swung around the ward.
Possibilities are endless with the swing, man. I hope they put some more comedy into it a little bit, because obviously it's going to get intense because he took him out, but I want him a bit more, because again, the swing is still an awesome thing. It's still an awesome move that so simple, but it's so entertaining. So, and it's, but as I said, had that cool kick that was really innovative. Bounced on the ropes, hit the stomp on Nakamura, got the win. That was it. So hopefully Cesaro will obviously turn up in the next 3 weeks to get his revenge and set up a WrestleMania match. That's actually are we looking forward to, because Cesaro was great. Seth Rollins, as much as you might not like him vocally when he goes on Twitter or his opinions on things, no one can deny the guy's great in the ring. So I'm intrigued to see Seth versus Cesaro in a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it'd be a good exhibition, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it should be, at least they're giving him Cesaro actually something to do this year. That's nice, instead of just putting him in battle royals and just forgetting about him. But so that should be an awesome match, hopefully WrestleMania, if they book it, unless there's a swerve. I hope there isn't. But anyway, next, so the kind of next match we've got to talk about is the kind of, we're now down to the kind of final three of the cusp of the pay-per-view, if you want to say, the three kind of matches that were kind of intriguing. Well, I thought anyway. Obviously, we talking about the Drew McIntyre that is going to be facing Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, but they announced it before this match, so this match kind of becomes null and void. But they wanted to do that, so that's their right against Sheamus.
that's their right.
They really want. It's their company. They can do what they want. I don't know. I don't.
You have no right to book that match, WWE. You have no right.
Oh well.
I will be outside with my placard.
Yeah, I join.
I will be with Sami Zayn's documentary crew.
You do have no right. Oh, it's God. But yeah, so
Sheamus, you have no right to be fighting Drew. You had your match on Raw and you both knocked yourself out. You both win, you both lose. Now move on. That was another odd thing as well. Like they had their no DQ match the previous 2 weeks ago on Raw. Like it's done. It's already done. Yeah, surely you'd want to have the stipulation of either the winner. Like, no one knows who's going to face Bobby Lashley. So the winner of this match, even though it'll be inevitable, it will be Drew. The winner faces Bobby Lashley. Or, if Drew loses, it becomes a triple threat match. Or, he loses his spot at WrestleMania. Surely.
Yeah.
But they didn't go for that. They just went, we just want to end this feud.
No, we've wasted it, kind of, because they had, I think they've faced twice this month. I think they've had a singles match. They've had was it a last man standings match? I think, 2 weeks ago? If I'm right. Might be right. Or
they had it was a no DQ match. So it was exactly the same. So they had a no DQ match. Then they had, this one was a no holds barred. What's the bloody difference? There isn't any difference. Unless there's some bullshit technicality about rope breaks or something.
Well,
I don't know.
It's basically the same as they used to do. That was a stupid kind of Cyber Sundays where they basically choose the exact same name of the match they want, but they just use different names. So it's like, well, you have choice. It's like, no, you basically want a no DQ match. But you just want to, you just use like no holds barred or like Extreme Rules. But they're the same match, kind of.
Same thing.
You know what you want, but
Extreme Rules, there might be some fire. That's the only difference, really.
If you go proper Extreme Rules. But anyway, so obviously this was kind of I wouldn't say they're both. I think Drew's won both of the matches. I think, if I remember.
The no DQ one was a draw. They both knocked each other out with some steps.
Okay. Interesting way. It's an interesting finish. But yeah. So I guess this was to finally end this Friends breakup. That I've heard good things about these matches. They seem to be really good. So I was intrigued to go in this match. But yeah, I mean, cool thing we got to point out in this match. I liked that promo package at the beginning.
Yes.
Again, very WrestleMania quality worthy. You know. On my notes here, I've put I don't know why. I just felt like a No Way Out 2004 feel to it. You know, where both guys have got the saying the exact same thing. You know, at the end, but in different perspectives. That's kind of it reminded me of that Eddie Guerrero, Brock Lesnar stuff, where it's they're both their perspectives sort of roll to this match,
illustrating their journeys. Yeah,
I mean that's what I got, and it's really good. But for me, it just feels like I wish this was the first time they met personally. But that's because I'm kind of an old stickler to personal matches like this should be on pay-per-views and not really on television shows.
Thrown away on Raw.
Maybe it's just me. Very old WCW type thing, isn't it? Throwing them away on TV. Shouldn't we? It's more of a pay-per-view. Should be the first time they met. Would have met more, but obviously you got Drew came out with the Braveheart Scottish kind of face paint because he's already got the sword. Now he just needs to face paint, and he's got the kilt as well. So it's the cliche Scotsman here. But
we're coming out with bagpipes next.
Don't. You know they will. WrestleMania. That is going to happen, isn't it? Especially with his entrances, is technically that's going to be his entrance. You just, if this happens, I'm blaming you. Okay.
Didn't they have bagpipes at WrestleMania 2 years ago when he fought Roman Reigns? Or he had a march, or he had the line of drums, didn't he? He came down to. I'm not quite sure if there was a bagpipe or not.
Yeah, I mean, but obviously going to be fans of this WrestleMania, apparently. They're selling tickets, so. But yeah, it's probably going to be bagpipes. But yeah, so he had his Braveheart stuff. Nothing. A lot of this match at the start was basically the stuff you expect. You got with any kind of match like this, you have kendo sticks, you have steel steps, you got you clear the announce table, that kind of stuff. The kind of stuff that most people do in these kind of matches. Basically, I mean, then kendo stick shots. I mean, I'll say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. I am not ever going to be hit by kendo sticks. It's just not happening.
The laceration, they made a big point of showing the laceration on Sheamus's back. That looked nasty. That looks like it's going to sting in the morning. Or sting at that very moment.
I mean, I saw the pictures on Instagram about it. I mean, after I think it was a draw they had on Raw, it was like horrible, vicious shots. But yeah, I mean, tables there. We had a spot where they were like they're both on the announce table trying to hit Sheamus trying to do the Irish Curse backbreaker onto the table. Drew McIntyre trying to hit the Future Shock DDT. Obviously, it didn't work. Drew pushed him off. But then the match. But let's be honest, the match kind of got really cool when they went around the arena, as you expect. It's kind of similar to the way they did with that kind of Kevin Owens kind of Roman Reigns type thing. Where they use the environment around them.
Of course, it's no holds barred, as they pointed out in the commentary. They can go anywhere. It's like, thanks, we know that from what they're doing. We know the
rules, damn it.
We know the rules that there are no rules.
There are no rules, but there is only one rule: pinfall. That's it. But everything else,
pinfall submission.
But and then to go around this empty part of the arena. No one's there. That kind of stuff. Sheamus suplexed him onto the unprotected floor. That must have sucked. I don't care what anyone says. That must suck. Then he found a way up to the was it LED kind of level where the fans are, like the first level of that. Sheamus doing kind of like a running senton. Drew kind of like coming back and then Sheamus kind of crashing through the Thunderdome screens and sparks are flying. I couldn't help myself but think of AEW with sparks. I'm sorry AEW, but it's too funny. Yeah. It's too funny that I saw more sparks in that than I did with.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a fan of AEW, but you can't help but take the mick out of that. It's ridiculous.
Oh, that would have been a big old kick in the teeth, wouldn't it? If especially it'd be more fitting later on with the Fiend emerging and the ring exploding. That's a little trick from Alexa Bliss. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And
if anyone says well, they're not that petty, it's like it's wrestling. You always take jabs at each other. It's kind of it's what makes it makes it fun. So what a shocker! Sheamus is okay. What a shock! And then Drew McIntyre just took him back down to the floor, used the equipment case,
using the old Kurt Angle trick from King of the Ring 2001. He can't carry Shane back to the ring, so he uses that road case to trolley Sheamus back down to the ring.
It's what it's there for. It's what I mean. It's what my old job. I was ever going. Was it heavy? Was it wires or like jack leads and stuff? Like I'm not carrying them. Boom, put them on this case. Carry them. It's smart. But yeah, so dragged him back in.
Yeah. You've got this guy you just knocked out, you beat the shit out of. I'm not moving him. I thought that was your job. I just beat people up. Put him on the trolley. Why not? Off we go.
It's been a long night anyway. But yeah, so drags him back near to the ring. Hit a suplex on the unprotected floor. Get a little bit of revenge from earlier. Was it brought him back into the ring? And then obviously Sheamus got back, hit a bro kick. Drew McIntyre went over to the barricade near where the announce table is. Sheamus climbed up this nice little... Conveniently, I don't know what this box thing is, right on just outside behind the commentators. To stand on it, hit the white noise off the top. Table breaks. That's always nice because I always worry about tables not breaking, especially like I think when was it? What was it? I think it was Royal Rumble when was it Randy Orton won? Or it's like the table just didn't break. The announce table didn't break.
Nope.
So when it breaks, it's always a success. Because it sometimes doesn't. So
that should have been the chant afterwards. Obviously, they include the artificial "This is awesome" chant. Yeah, this was a success. That was a success.
It worked. The table we set up to collapsed. Yes, but after this match, then it kind of ended with Drew McIntyre, Sheamus putting Drew McIntyre into the ring, brought a piece of the announce table just for the sake of. That I guess that would hurt. Gonna set up for. I think he was gonna go for the kind of Irish Curse, kind of backbreaker type thing, or like one of his finishers.
Go for an Alabama Slammer, I believe it was.
It's Alabama Slammer. Drew got out of it. Fight back, a nice little exchanges and that. But then obviously, Drew near the end, Drew hits the Future Shock DDT onto that part of the announce table. Then went for hit the Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre gets the win. And goes into the WWE Championship match with a victory. So, I thought it was a good match. I mean, with these kind of matches, you're always going to get some level of entertainment from them because it's got table spots, things flying, people getting hit with weapons. It's always kind of fun. Well, I find it fun anyway. But yeah, I mean, but from what I've heard, have you watched like the match previously? Have you like seen that match?
2 weeks ago, no, I saw the no DQ match, or particularly ending that I catch the highlights on YouTube. But when they did that double knockout, I thought, okay, they're going to book this match again, aren't they? But it's like, what stipulation are they going to use? They've already did no DQ. Oh, they're just going to do exactly the same, just call it a different name.
Yeah, but...
All right, fine.
Yeah, because we don't notice these things, wrestling fans, do we? We don't notice these things. But yeah, I think it was a good match. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking. It's not going to be a match you go back to, kind of, because probably during those 3 matches they've had, it's probably they've done better, you know. But yeah, Drew looks good. Sheamus doing what Sheamus kind of always does these days, and kind of he puts in the fuse, but he always loses. So what he does after this, I do not know. So, but yeah, It would have been nice if there was a bit of stake, you know, a bit of stipulation that would have tied in nicer into the WWE Championship match at Wrestlemania. Would have been nice, but
there wasn't.
No, but this is just a standard battle. Like again, like 20 minutes. I think this gave. I think a good chunk of time. It's fine. Drew always looks great when he's. I did like the bit kind of. I've got to put it right at the end where he tried to do his like kind of signature celebration, but because he was so badly beaten, he couldn't do it. So he had to scream out to get the kind of adrenaline to do it. That kind of like that's why I like Drew, because he's very good at selling and very good at making you feel sympathetic for him. So I don't know about Raw, but maybe I would like if they kind of kept the injuries of that match, so it feels like it's got some weight. But I don't know. I don't think they did that on Raw this week. So
no, I didn't watch Raw. I think Sheamus went against Bobby Lashley. Don't know if there was a stipulation for that or not. But I haven't caught Raw as of yet. No,
but that's fine. But yeah, as this match, fine. I think it's good. It had some good moments. It was mildly entertaining, and Drew looks good. And going into the big match against Bobby Lashley, that I'm intrigued. I'm not saying I'm excited, but I'm intrigued because it could be good. I haven't seen. I don't know. I mean, Bobby Lashley's been killing it last couple of months, and Drew's very good. So if anyone, I think didn't they face each other? I think the one about the start of the pandemic in a title match, if I remember.
I believe it was his first or his second
title events, and I remember how kind of surprised how good that match was. So
yes, because they sold because I think they'll do exactly the same thing where Drew McIntyre was caught before the match in that hurt lock, so he had the injury played throughout, increased the drama, increased the tension. They'll probably do exactly the same thing, just they'll use the numbers game. Maybe that's how Sheamus gets involved. Maybe they reconcile and Sheamus comes in to even the odds against the Hurt Business.
I wouldn't be against that. I mean, to be fair, they could do a very similar kind of like, you know, that John Moxley and Eddie Kingston thing with the whole like, you know, they've this bitter friendship is falling apart, and then they come together over a common like kind of like, you know, they've had their fight, now they're coming together to become friends to fight off the champion. That they could do, because I do like Drew McIntyre, and I think Sheamus is, I wouldn't say underrated. Yeah, I would say underrated because he is very good at what he does. I don't think he's put out like 5-star matches, I don't think, but he's very solid and very good at what he does. So we could do it, but yeah, I'm intrigued about that match. So. And Drew deserves to win that title back in front of a crowd. He's been the MVP. He's been the star of this pandemic in the sense that he's kept it going. He's kept the show kind of running, if that's the word. Than anything else. So yeah, should be an interesting match. So
yeah, that was a nice little time when you said MVP. So obviously not that.
No,
MVP.
That's why I had to change.
Of the Hurt Business.
I had to change it because I think that's gonna wrong word when there's
that's gonna confuse the folk. Confuse the listeners.
So anyway, but yes, it's going to be a good match. So I can't wait. It should be good. Hopefully they can, again, like just other matches, they can build it up to be really good. Like have some sort of more story than just he wants his title back would be nice. But
the most anticipated match, like surely, well for me anyway, because I like my story, I like my context, and last year the Firefly Funhouse was just fantastic. That character assassination of John Cena. We've not seen him since, apart from that WrestleMania Hollywood promo and a couple of crap movies. But But now with the Fiend returning, and that constantly being teased in this build-up, with Alexa Bliss kind of taking on the Fiend role, or embodying the Fiend at some point.
She's done a magnificent job. I got to be honest. I mean, a lot of people don't like the goofiness of it, but if you're going to commit to it. That's what I kind of like about it. They haven't half-assed it, if you know what I mean. It's like, you might not like it, but we're going to... This is goofy, so we're going to go for it. You know? Burning people alive, people getting possessed by witchcraft, like the dark arts, you know? Stuff like, you know... It's very, very, like, kind of like voodoo type stuff, especially with the whole Alexa Bliss kind of satanic... Sitting on a satanic symbol, doing the whole chants and all that. Very voodoo stuff. That if you're going to go there, go there. So...
Yeah, go for it. The only thing I found a little bit hokey was like kind of the blood in the mouth, and like pouring out. I mean, yeah, it's a grotesque kind of image. Cool, it's effective, it works. But yeah, for me, like each and every week, like surely Randy would have go to a doctor, sort that out. That's not a good thing. I really liked the promo where the Fiend possessed Randy Orton, and Randy Orton's watching himself back. But it's obviously the Fiend embodying him, and he's warning him that he's soon going to come face to face with everything he's ever done. It's like, well, that's exciting. That excites me a lot, because that can be a long match. The Firefly Funhouse. Because think of all the awful shit that Randy Orton has done. I mean, what has he done? Quite a lot of awful stuff.
He's done lots of punting people in heads, home invasions. I'm sure he's done some. To Bray Wyatt in general, he's done a lot of bad things to him. So, only thing about we'll talk about the kind of stipulation of it. Looks like the match is just going to be a match at WrestleMania. Hopefully that changes in 3 weeks, because if you don't have the Firefly Funhouse, they're missing out on a great opportunity here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously the kind of first intergender kind of match I think we've had for a very long time on WWE. I can't remember the last one.
Well, the last one was it not Sasha Banks and Reginald on SmackDown?
Do I count that though? I mean, it does count, but...
Well, it is. It was more of a match than this was.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't think of that one. Let's rephrase it. The last one on pay-per-view. Let's go by that, so I can help myself there.
The only thing I can think of is when Nia Jax appeared in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's probably it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but the funny thing is, it's like, what I've always liked about it, if you're going to do a match like this, always, I think, no one in this match, I thought, wow, it's like, you know, women versus man. It's more, this should be interesting, because it's going to have spooky stuff in it. It's going to have some weird stuff going on. So I was intrigued to see, is it going to be a match? Is it just going to be a no contest? Is it going to be just Alexa kind of just standing around for like 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden...
Yeah. Was Orton going to absolutely kick the shit out of Alexa Bliss, and it'd be very uncomfortable?
Yeah,
that would be a fantastic swerve. Just punting Alexa Bliss over and over again in the head as she just recovers and laughs at him. Like, fucking die. Why won't you
because
die?
I'm possessed. But I mean...
That'd be brilliant. Punts Bliss in the head. She just gets up and laughs.
Oh, you can imagine the people be like, you're killing the business, man. She's no selling. She's no selling. This is killing the business. But, yeah. But I didn't know what to go into this match. I didn't know what to think. Like, I didn't know what kind of happened. Would it be... That's why it was really hard to predict it, because you didn't know. Was it just going to be like a throwaway match where just throwing it away? Or would it be an actual match and just have like... I think what kind of was hoping that it would just be like, just about to start, lights go out, boom, Fiend comes out, match ends in a no contest, and then we set up that. But yeah, they went for the match. They decided to do a bit of... Well, I say went for the match. It was a lot of Alexa Bliss laughing, walking around the ring,
It was mainly follow and chase.
Using her supernatural abilities, like making a wall of fire, making the ceiling fall down on everyone, and her favorite weapon, the fireball in the face. That's the commentary team kind of hilarious. She said, "Well, I think he blocked it." It's like, you don't block fire.
You don't block fire to the face. I really liked. There's a nice subtle thing that Randy Orton did, and very smart. When he avoided the lights coming down on him, Bliss was back in the ring. Orton was about to enter as well. What did he do? He looked up at the ceiling, make sure nothing's going to fall on me. Like, that's good. That's clever thinking. Yeah, of course. Have a look around. Observe your surroundings.
The person has the power to let lighting fall from the sky. So
Of
and
course.
also,
But of course, he was looking above when he should have been looking below, because below, on the canvas, a hole emerged, and out came the smoke. Out came the singed hand and arm of, who could it be? Of course, it's only one person or creature or monster, whatever you want to think of him, a demon, is the Fiend. And as we talked about as we predicted, when he comes back, he's gotta looks like he's been burnt alive, and he has. That charred attire, that charred mask.
anyone getting Texas Chainsaw
good.
Massacre vibes with that mask?
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
that's a lot of people that's what I'm kind of feeling, because obviously the way he's dressed is very the layers and the kind of mask are kind of melting, like very Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think it's with Leatherface.
Yeah.
Is it called? His name? What the checks?
Yeah,
that's what the
Leatherface.
vibe I got from this. But yeah, it's what we're expecting or waiting for it. But yeah, very, very as you expect, very Kane, very Undertaker, coming from the ring, from the depths of hell, and coming from grabbing his ankle. Yes, and obviously Randy's like, what the hell's going on? Boom. Alexa Bliss drop kicks him into the arms of the Fiend, Sister Abigail. Alexa Bliss pins him in a match that wasn't a DQ match, but yeah, the ref was like, you know what? I just want this match to be over. I want to get out of it. I mean, there's one thing he didn't point out. The ref, at the beginning of this match, just scarpered out of the ring.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that supernatural shit. Although, guessing technicality, if I was to put my lawyer hat on and say that the Fiend was possessing Alexa Bliss, you could say that that the Fiend interrupting was Bliss, I guess. It's the same person in two bodies. That same spirit, I guess. Some bullshit technicality there. Or the referee just thought, fuck it. I just want to go.
No, you tempted to ring the bell and tell, the Fiend and Alexa Bliss, yeah, get out of here. You'd be like, no, I'm probably just going to... I'll just pin him. I'm going to get out of it, I think, and I'm going to scarp it, because if you see the Fiend, you're running away. I don't care. You don't have to be this, But yeah, just that little technicalities there. Technically, the Fiend getting involved was technically a disqualification because it was a normal match. But unless there's...
Surely the fireball to the face was a disqualification.
Is there something I'm missing in the rules? But it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. So the Fiend's back. Alexa Bliss has done a great job carrying this feud. So it'll be interesting to see the next 3 weeks. Hopefully they tease into the Firefly Funhouse, because at the moment it's only advertised as a singles match. So I hope it's not a singles match, because as you said, there's so much cool, awesome stuff they can do with a Firefly Funhouse match. There's so many good stuff, and
they've teased it already, as I mentioned before, when Randy Orton came face to face with himself. Said, you will face everything bad that you've ever done. It's like, surely that's implying that it will be a Firefly Funhouse, or at least some kind of other cinematic experience. So it might be a Alexa Bliss's playground, maybe, if they want to change things up a bit.
I just think I would. Again, it's been, if you've been listening to our podcast for pretty much since this feud started, it's the thing we've kind of wanted for a very long time. Ever since the kind of feud happened, we were like, we got to a point where I would love to see that. I'd love to see it. And I just hope they don't just not do it, because they think, well, there's fans, you don't have to do it. It's like, please do it. I just think there's still one last cinematic match before you kind of don't do them anymore. Would be nice, And I think this is the perfect match to do it. So I hope they do it.
Yeah. If they wanted to half and half, starting off in the ring, and then it goes backstage, and then spooky shit's going on here, and then you can play around with the supernatural stuff.
Yeah, I just think that match that John Cena one was just outstanding. With some people could say it's not a match, but whatever. Wrestling's about spending your disbelief anyway. So why is the cinematic match any different? But yeah, I hope they do that. So fingers crossed. Let's hope. But was it really a match? It was just weird. Had some cool stuff. Randy is the Fiend is back, so that's basically what we were waiting for. We got that, so technically the match delivered. Technically, for what it was promising,
it did. We wanted the Fiend to come back, and he's back, which is wonderful.
Yeah. So wow, I just realised the funny thing about this pay-per-view is it's very, very short, because before you knew it, when I was watching it, we got to it was the main event like an hour and a half into the show, like 2 hours in. You're like, what? Like really short show. But in this case, in my review, also very short in the show. So we're already at the main event. So the main event obviously was for Roman Reigns going against Daniel Bryan for the WWE Universal Championship, with Edge being, you could say, some people joking around say, the worst special enforcer in history. But he was the special enforcer. But that's kind of set up. But yeah, this feud, I mean, what do you think of those feud? Like, it seems to be bubbling into some interesting things.
It is. People have been comparing it to, well, what we might be getting. We might be getting the triple threat match. Because they had the call back to WrestleMania 30, where Daniel Bryan had to overcome all the odds, all the obstacles, beating all the members of Evolution, bar Ric Flair, and the same night. Edge has been playing the kind of mind games, which I liked kind of early on, especially when he was deciding who to challenge. But then kind of since then, he's had one match on SmackDown, so it's nice to see him wrestle. But I'd like to see that old rated R superstar. So whether it's that tweener or if he is a heel, we'd like to see him there. But the way it came out at the end of the match, I'm not sold on it, the way it was executed. That ending, it was a little bit overbooked. Well, a little bit. It was very overbooked.
Yeah, but it kind of what I like about it in a sense of Edge coming back has kind of been like it's the kind of, he's come back and it's been awesome, but it's like he's kind of hasn't, I don't want to say he hasn't done much, but since he became the Royal Rumble and he's been gone around saying some stuff and that, but he hasn't done much.
Exactly, yeah. He's just been like toying around going, oh, I might challenge you. Like the most exciting thing he did was when he appeared on NXT. It's like, oh, Edge and Finn Balor, that would be nice. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I'm a big fan of Edge, always have been, always will be. But yeah, it's just like they kind of just say he's been hanging around and they're kind of putting it. I know he's not a part-timer and he's not like those part-timers, but the way they're kind of been like using him, like it kind of feels like they're making him look like, yeah, he's a part-timer, he shouldn't be here type thing. And again, with this Roman Reigns Edge thing, I wasn't really looking forward to it too much. I knew the match would be good, but there was nothing really there. But now this Daniel Bryan thing in there kind of makes it like, I just think I think that's where they're going, because obviously the finish, but I think it needed it because it was a bit, I wouldn't say flat. Was the build up between Edge and Roman Reigns kind of flat? Didn't feel like there was anything there other than just, Roman Reigns felt Edge was disrespecting him, basically.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I don't think it was falling flat, but I think there was more interest with Edge and Drew or Edge and Finn, even though Edge and Finn wasn't going to happen.
It was nice. It's nice to dream for a week, though. It was nice
to dream. And we were talking about it before. It was like, well, who's going to go against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania if Edge picks Drew? Because that appeared to be the obvious choice. We're talking, well, Daniel Bryan, like quite possibly, because he had that great promo before the Royal Rumble saying, this might be my last Royal Rumble, this might be my last WrestleMania. So Roman and Daniel Bryan going at it, I was all for. But I do like the idea. Like, some people don't, but I do like the idea of a triple threat match. I just, again, not a huge fan of how it was booked, the ending of this match, but either Edge, Daniel Bryan, or Roman Reigns being the Universal Champion, I can see benefits for all of those. I don't really see any big old negatives that would be terrible if they were still champion or terrible if they became champion. I'd be very happy if any one of those walked out as a Universal Champion, and as long as they tell a good story, which I'm sure they will.
I mean, to be fair, they have teasing it, but the exchanges between Edge and Daniel Bryan have been really good. So, and especially with now obviously we'll talk about a bit more in the match in a bit, but like Edge, this is not just like a tweener thing. This is full on. I think this is Edge heel turn. So we're gonna get like rated R superstar, and I'm like, that's the Edge. That's when he was the best. The Edge. The reason I loved Edge was his rated R, ultimate opportunist kind of Edge.
Yeah.
So And apparently, from backstage, the reason this is happening is not because of like natural progression. It's just Vince thinks that Edge he just wants Edge to be heel. He thinks it'd be better. There's no like any sudden change. He just wants to. He thought, Edge should be heel. It's like, okay, we'll just change it then. So it's very Vince move that. But
that does seem very Vince like, because of all the intentions that Edge has had. So I'm going to call this one right down the middle. Yeah, he's the ultimate opportunist. I get it. But like to the way he did it, especially when he was attacking Daniel Bryan more at the end of the match, he goes, no, this is my moment. This is my moment. It's like, you got involved to be special enforcer.
Yeah, it did. It did feel, and also, I mean, you could sit there and say, well, it might have been because of that running knee that Daniel Bryan hit him, the go home show. Maybe he's more frustrated because Roman hasn't really done much to it, I don't think. But like Daniel Bryan's been the one that's been in his face, hit him with that running knee, really properly intense on him. So maybe he was more inclined to hit him than it was like Roman Reigns. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do a triple threat where it's basically Edge and Daniel Bryan have got the kind of like feud and kind of hatred, and it's just Roman Reigns sitting there and he's like with his special counsel just sitting there laughing because he's seeing like both of these guys he's facing imploding. So, but yeah.
And of course, who does triple threat? Who gets the advantage of the triple threat match? Roman Reigns does, because it's no DQ. Jey Uso can get involved, even up the odds. If Daniel Bryan and Edge decide to go 2-on-1, bring in Jey Uso, maybe Jimmy Uso if he recovers, maybe he makes a little surprise return.
I do feel I'd love to see the proper like bloodline together. Proper like both of the Usos there with Roman Reigns would be nicer.
That's a stable name as well. That'd be cool. Bloodline. There we are. The Bloodline.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Right. But hopefully we get that soon. But yeah. I mean, I hope that this obvious with the kind of finish with the whole like Daniel Bryan did make Roman Reigns tap, even if it was the weakest ass tap you'll ever see.
It was like a passed out tap, yeah.
So it's like you can always use, but he made the guy tap. So it looks like he's gonna be involved. It makes sense, but yeah, I mean when it comes to match again, it was 30 minutes, so they really gave this one proper time. This one,
and like bang on 30 minutes from some sources as well.
I think they utilised that. Maybe they've got. I don't know why they like cut. They had 30. This didn't have to be 30 minutes, of course, but it's like it seems like they cut a lot of stuff from matches that might need a bit more time and put most of it on this. Looks like, I mean, it was. I mean, you can't sit there and say, except for the finish, if you're not a fan of that. The back and forth between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns in this match was awesome. I mean, the beginning was, I like the way Daniel Bryan was teasing him, kind of like, felt very like a boxing type thing, where it's like, a guy that's quicker, running around, trying to do like kicks, trying to get punches, trying to work on his leg, trying to go for that was it calf hook kind of thing, the kind of thing that Kyle O'Reilly does, that kind of finish, trying to go for the leg, that kind of stuff. Roman Reigns getting frustrated because normally in these matches he's the guy in control, he's the guy in charge, and he's usually one that slows the pace down. He's the one that talks crap. He's the one that makes it like the kind of what good heels should do, like slow it down, make it boring, make it people go, oh come on, let's like get the face to get back into it. But it seemed to be like back and forth. Just when you think Roman Reigns was getting back into it, Daniel Bryan picked up the pace. He got back into it. Roman just couldn't get control. So I like that. I think it felt. I don't know. I don't want to use the analogy of boxing, but it did feel like that, with the kind of like like a light heavyweight going against like a heavyweight. One's got the speed, the other one's got the power.
Yeah, one was a brawling like street fighter, has some goons with him to back him up, and one's a legitimate martial artist who can look after himself, and can have fun.
Yeah, and he's got the speed and everything. And I like the kind of like little things with like Danny Bryan's like he's having a laugh because he knows he can out wrestle this guy, that kind of stuff. Like I love the confidence, the kind of that Danny Bryan confidence.
That shades of that John Cena match from SummerSlam 2013. Was it 2013? Yeah, where he just out wrestled John Cena. And it was glorious.
It's one of those matches. I always love going back to that match because it's too good. But we did, we had some good ones. It was a bit when I think it was Danny Bryan was trying to go for like a Hurricane Rana from the top, but Roman Reigns caught him and then brought it down and locked in the kind of Boston Crab. It was kind of nice. That I think it just shows the kind of strength of Roman Reigns. Again, it's just, but at this point, it's just back and forth. You know, Danny Bryan picking up the pace. Had some bits when he hitting that yes kicks, but that Roman Reigns kind of like got back into it. But again, Roman Reigns has got some of the best strikes I've ever seen. You know, when he hits, there was vicious strikes on the floor. You know, they just look so good.
The proper ground and pound, like really gritty, desperate. He's got fantastic uppercuts as well. If you remember, back in again the Attitude Era, with Undertaker and Kane did some fantastic uppercuts. He's learned a thing or two from that as well. He's been doing uppercuts for a while, Roman Reigns, but yeah, he's very good at those as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I noticed it when he went against when the Jey Uso feud, when it's just like the kind of viciousness he was going for. I think I just love it because it gets to that uncomfortable level, you know. Obviously, it's not Brock Lesnar kind of, you know, hitting your head until you bleed type strikes, but it's still kind of like the viciousness of it, you know. But yeah, it's like that. Yeah, power bombs. You finally got that kick to the head. Danny Bryan did that stomp he does, that, you know, the way he holds the arms and he stomps on him, you know, proper going for it. But yeah, I mean, it got to that point when he locked in that yes lock. At some point, you were thinking he could tap, you know, because he had it in for a long time. Yeah,
for a long time, and Edge's just waiting there. It's like something's going to happen. Either Jey Uso is going to emerge, which he does. I think on the second time round, but Roman manages to counter it, puts in those elbow strikes. But if he goes for a spear, Daniel Bryan then tries to go for a knee, and we have the first ref bump.
Yes.
Or the first enforcer going down. And it's a really good bump as well. It's a good sell from the referee.
I mean, if you watch a lot of Attitude Era, I mean, we only get one bump per pay-per-view. Yeah. Watch Attitude Era, it's like bump every night. Like literally like two or three night. Like ref bumps, or like the ref gets distracted or this. It's like they done that to death in that era. Yeah. But in this case, it was good. Yeah. It was good. He kind of was waiting for Uso to turn up because it's kind of his MO. Roman Reigns now, isn't it? Roman Reigns looks like he's getting beaten. Just when he's getting beat, Jey Uso comes out to bail him out to try and, you know, get him to win. And he did come in, getting super kicks galore, that kind of stuff, you know, on Edge and Danny Bryan. And he obviously had the thing where Jey Uso was kind of thrown Edge into the post, so he was out. But yeah, I liked the bit when Jey Uso came with a chair, Danny Bryan took the chair from him, and like you would think, well, he's a face, he shouldn't be using chairs, but he's so desperate to win. He's like, I'm not messing around here. So I like the continued chair shots to the back to everyone, and I like the bit when he looked at the ref. I like the way he looked, you know, like looked on the ref and just checked, just to double check, like, is he still out? Yeah. So I see what I can get away with, that kind of stuff. And then again, he saw an opportunity, try to, as we said, talk about the ending. Danny Bryan tries to charge with the chair. Roman Reigns gets out of the way, hits Edge. He's in the corner now, sets up. Roman Reigns goes for like a Superman punch and then goes for a spear attempt. Danny Bryan locks in that, as you said, yes lock, and he proper yanks it. We were talking about, he had, again, long time, no ref, but Roman Reigns he's tapping, so that's how he gets in the triple threat. That's how we know.
And it's because of the lighting as well, but it looks like Roman Reigns is turning purple or turning blue. It's like, oh my goodness, but no, it's just the light. You know, otherwise, like, oh, he's actually going to pass out. He's holding his breath. But yeah, he's kind of passed out, kind of tapping. So yeah, that was a definite tap out. So triple threat confirmed at Mania, surely. But then Edge comes in, surprise, chair shot to Bryan, chair shot to Roman, and more chair shots to Daniel Bryan.
And as you said, it should have been, you know, it's kind of like intensity. I like that. Again, Edge is better when he's kind of this out of control nutcase kind of character. When he's not getting his own way, it's what made him so cool and got awesome back in the day as a heel. So he walks off. Always find it funny that now another referee decides to come down. I always loved that. It's like the ref's been down for so long, and then they wait. Right, this ref goes, should I go out? Should I go and help out? Nah, I think I'll wait. You know, I'll give it 10 minutes. I always find that funny with refs, you know, in wrestling.
Yeah, and they've seen everything happening as well. They've seen the enforcer hitting people with chairs. They've seen other competitors using chairs. You've seen interference. The referee comes down, doesn't stop the match. Just goes, I obviously saw what was going on in the back. Call it disqualification as soon as you get in the ring.
If it's one thing I love about they'll never do it, but it would be funny if they ever do, is if they use video technology in wrestling. You know, like where like they want to, yeah, like they try to like stop the heels from cheating.
Just gonna check it. So we're just looking for, did Roman tap out? That's all we're looking for. We just need to find another angle.
If they use common sense in that sense, they would use video technology, but they don't, because obviously it would screw up some storylines. But yeah, so the ref came. Yeah. Roman Reigns put his arm across Danny Bryan's, put his arms across, puts for the pin, 1, 2, 3, and is still the Universal Champion. Shouldn't be, but ended that, and then we kind of end the show with that, with Edge turning heel. Looks like there's a triple threat on the way. This storyline has just got very more interesting, and I can't wait to watch SmackDown on Friday. I've got to be honest, to see what happens, where it's going to go. Mm-hmm. But again, could it be said, match of the night?
Yeah, I'd say so, probably. Yeah, match of the night. It's such a shame, once again, the Intercontinental Championship being cut short, because that was a good solid 5 minutes. But otherwise, yeah, this was the big talking point match. The match that was given the most time. Didn't need as much time, I think, but yeah, match of the night for sure. Not the best Roman Reigns match. Bit too overbooked. Another kind of general note as well for this pay-per-view, there were some awkward moments, but also like at the beginning of the match, it's usually like the heels to begin with would talk about like their intention. They'll kind of like monologue and tell their opponent what they want, basically. It's like, I want to be in WrestleMania, or I want respect, or 22 times, or whatever it is. You don't need to do that. We've got the promo package.
Don't have to remind us, mate. We know what's going on. Damn it. That's what them awesome people in the WWE video department that puts together these amazing promo packages, you know? That's their job. They're supposed to condense storylines in a 2-minute or 3-minute video. That's what they do. So you don't have to do it. It's not your job. But yeah. So it ends in a kind of pay-per-view for me, except for the main event, and possibly The Fiend returning, as I said at the beginning. Did this pay-per-view need to exist?
No.
It feels like exactly what WWE sometimes feels like, where they just put on shows for the sake of it. And I know that's like when you got a network, you can kind of get away with it because you don't have to worry about too much about buys and that kind of stuff. But again, it's like, normally the other pay-per-views that do this are fine because they have good wrestling, nothing untowards. But this one just felt, I never thought hear myself say these words. Very short. I mean, what is it? Clocked in 2. I don't actually know how long this pay-per-view is. Probably 2 hours.
It was 2 hours and 40 minutes, but you had about 3 or 4 matches that were under 10 minutes.
So it felt like a short pay-per-view.
But they elongated it. They elongated it with ridiculous amounts of advertisements and dumb backstage segments, which they didn't need to do.
Yeah, we had 24/7 segment, always, kind of what you have to do. But So nothing more we need to say about this pay-per-view, really. We've kind of gone through it quite nicely, actually. So Fiend's back, awesome. Triple Threat's going to be awesome. Hopefully the Intercontinental title gets more...
If they do the Triple Threat.
Please, come on. They can't be setting this up and not do it. Come on. If you don't... the perfect example for me explains it. What would Danny Bryan do if he doesn't? They built all this work to then, to just have a random match against, Jey Uso again? Just for the sake of it. It just wouldn't work. Yeah. Unless they do a WrestleMania 30 thing, where they've kind of teased it anyway, where he has to beat someone on the first night to get to the match in the second night. That I wouldn't be against. It's kind of what they did. New Japan do all the time with their 2 nights. You have to win a match in the first night to get in the second match in the second. Yeah. I like that. I think that's what he might go though, because we're talking about Paul Heyman. His special counsel is very good at making everything great for Roman Reigns. So it's what he does. So don't be surprised if that's what they do. But yeah, ended the pay-per-view. Let's end it with kind of a ranking system. What do you think? What rating would you give this pay-per-view?
If you're going A to F, I'd say this is a D. No matches were awful. However, some matches were, some were overbooked or just unnecessary. And some that were booked very nicely were given very little time. So almost like D-. I'm going to say I didn't particularly enjoy this pay-per-view too much, to be honest. It's close. It's probably close to an E plus. Although that might be harsh.
That might be a bit harsh because
vaguely passable. Just about passable.
But E for me, like E of a grade E is like nothing's good on this show. Nothing on this. That totally sucks. Like D. I mean, I give it a C minus because I maybe like the main event. I do like, except for the crappy, like kind of really over the booking ending. Leading up to that, it was great. So, kind of, I'm trying to get the positives here, but yeah, it kind of just felt like, why is this pay per view existing? All you could have done is just made you take this off and then give an extra give that month to build up all these matches that apparently you haven't decided yet 3 weeks before the grandest show out there.
Oh yeah. You need to put 2 nights worth of WrestleMania, unless the WrestleManias are going to be short.
Everyone knows they won't. Let's be honest. No. I mean,
each one's going to be at least 4 hours.
I've got the card here already. Like, I've got what they've got so far. This is what the matches they've advertised so far. I've got Bad Bunny versus The Miz because that's the match I want to see. Yeah, right. I know. If you can't hear from Josh's voice, that's the match he's looking forward to the most. He's loving that match. But obviously Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Awesome. That'd be great. Drew versus Bobby Lashley WWE Championship. That's on night 1, confirmed. Night 2, Fiend versus Randy Orton. It's not a Firefly Funhouse match, but it will be. Random. It will be. Ruby White. Was it Oscar going against Rhea Ripley in just... it'll be a great match, but it has one of your hated pet peeves. You turn up, you ask for a title shot, and you get it.
Oh yes, just coming in. Yeah,
there's a story behind that.
I can loosely understand it. I mean, it's nice to have rather than having Asuka and Charlotte again, and Rhea Ripley was second in the Royal Rumble with a fantastic showing.
That's a good point. I think.
Maybe that could have been the match. Maybe at Fastlane, you could have had. They were building Rhea Ripley up for months and months, or weeks and weeks rather, on Raw. Going, Rhea Ripley's coming. Yeah, but when? It's like 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. It's like, no. Surely, or debut her on Fastlane. That's how people get excited. Rhea Ripley is going to be on Fastlane. She's going to have a match with so-and-so. And it'll be a nice dominant performance. And she challenges Asuka then. And you set up a new rivalry then. That could have been interesting.
Well, apparently from the rumours, it's set up because apparently Charlotte's got COVID, so she'll be out. Kind of, she can't really compete in this match. But I don't know. Just it's going to be a great match. No, but be sure it's going to be great. But again, where's the story? I don't like title matches. WrestleMania should have some sort of story that builds up to it. You got 3 weeks, so it'd be fine. But yeah, so that match is happening. Obviously, you got the Roman Reigns Edge for Universal title at the moment. Fingers crossed, super threat. We can always go by the principle, if you say it enough, it'll happen. But and then you got New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos making his debut for the World Tag Team Championships. Okay, whatever.
Again, that shows no division. Absolutely no division.
I feel sorry for the Hurt Business in that one. They've done really well, and then kind of just... I think I would be more interested with the Hurt Business going against AJ and Omos than the New Day. No offense to the New Day, but you've seen it before, so... But... Yeah, and then obviously we've got the Braun Strowman Shayna match. It's probably going to turn into a no disqualification because then they can just have shenanigans and beating people up. So
we'll have Seth Rollins and Cesaro as well. Have you mentioned?
It's not. I did look it up. I don't think it's confirmed yet, but that probably would be confirmed on SmackDown. But
yeah, that'll be confirmed.
I will put that at night 2 because I think night 2 seems to be shaping up a bit better than night 1. But that's just me. But it doesn't really matter. But yes, that's what's shaping up in the moment. So, but yeah, so that's our review of Fastlane. The next couple of reviews is going to be interesting because the WrestleMania week is very interesting, as we've stated before. 2 takeovers. Might do NXT UK have decided to put a show on the same night as night 2 because they just want to exhaust the fans, and then 2 nights of WrestleMania. We're thinking of creative ways to get around this because that's a lot of wrestling to review in a short space of time.
And that's just WWE.
It's not even the New Japan stuff, as you said before. Oh God, I mean, we'll find a way to do it. We've got, as I said, they've got 3 weeks to build something amazing. We've got 3 weeks to build something to try and figure out something. So we've got time. So, but yeah, like WWE, just I missed the days when there was just 2 shows, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. and we just can focus on that. But no, you had to do that thing where it's a week now. It's a week. I mean, there is a saying of too much wrestling, but I never thought hearing myself say there's blasphemy words. I can't believe I just said that, but you can have too much wrestling. But yeah, so we'll be.
Absolutely.
There's a guarantee you're going to get a WrestleMania night 1 and 2. That's a guarantee. We're going to review both of those nights, probably together, because I can't be doing. We're going to find a way to squeeze 2 nights worth of shows into one review.
We've done it before with Wrestle Kingdom.
We can do it. We can do it again. And so there's a guarantee of that. The takeover, we'll find a way to do that one, because again, we'll find a way to do that. We'll find it might be creatively different. Maybe we might find something different to make it work. But yeah. Then you'll get takeover and you'll get WrestleMania, hopefully. But if any changes, any problems, we'll let you know, because this is going to be an interesting week. That WrestleMania week, it's going to be interesting.
Yes. To find out more about our plans, be sure to follow us on Twitter at JoshandStewPod. If you want to drop us an email, of any kind of inquiry, then that's at joshandstewpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. So yeah, check it out. Obviously. When you come prediction game, obviously this we've got a big 6-way kind of prediction title match that we always have every year. I think it's like the 4th year in a row.
It might even be more than 6.
Interesting. I'm intrigued. I guess you find. I guess go and Josh and Stu Pod on our Twitter to find out about that one. More information about that. But yeah, so that'd be awesome. So expect stuff like some sort of build up to that, because that's always like a climax of our whole prediction thing every year. So that should be fun. So yeah, check out for that. So yeah, we'll be back at some point at the WrestleMania weekend when it comes to reviewing. But yeah, so we're back for that. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And yeah, we'll be back for that. We'll be back in 4 weeks for reviewing some of the pay-per-views at WrestleMania week. So until then, have an awesome week and see you then. Bye everyone.
Bye bye.